All right, guys, I got some sauce for y'all today. So, the idea here is the promotion radar. So, what does that stand for? So, basically, the idea is to be able to find whenever somebody got promoted in a company. Okay, so for example, let's say somebody was working in the marketing team of the company, and then now they became head of marketing, right? You are going to be able, through APIs, you're going to be able to find that information as soon as it happens. Therefore, you can sell them something, right? People that get promoted in jobs, in office jobs and stuff like that, they need new tools, right? They need new tools, they need new CRMs, they need new email tools, they need a bunch of new tools, right? AI tools nowadays. And basically the idea here is to match that timing so you know exactly when to sell. And that's when you get a warm lead instead of a cold lead. Now, I want to give you a disclaimer here. This business idea is a little bit riskier than the other ones that I've covered on this channel because we are talking about LinkedIn mainly, and LinkedIn is very, very anti-scraping. Okay, so what you are going to need to do if you want to do this is making sure that you are not using logins data, right? You're not going into private data on LinkedIn, but you're just using cookieless data, and basically you just scrape the what's publicly available, nothing private. Okay, that's the disclaimer here. All right, so basically sales is all about timing, right? So somebody just got promoted, they got more budget. They got more budget now, they got more money to buy stuff, and they have a lot of pressure, right? Because you work in a company, you just became, like in our example, you just became the head of marketing, for example, and then now you need new tools, right? You're gonna have more work, more pressure, more responsibilities, and so you're gonna need more tools, and that's where we come in using API arbitrage. We sell them the tools right at the perfect time, right? So basically, so cold lead is dead. Like, it's so hard to sell something to someone that doesn't want that thing right now. They don't want it. They don't need it. They don't want it, right? Imagine how much money you can make if you can know whenever someone needs something, right? Let's say, I don't know. Let's say imagine if there was a way to know when somebody just had a problem with their car, right? Or when somebody just had a problem with their computers, or when somebody's looking for something new, if there was a way that you can know. Well, the only way in which this could work is something online, right? Something that has API connected to it, right? Because in real life, it's impossible. But in the digital life, it is possible. And that's where the edge is, right? Is to take advantage of the fact that we have APIs, we can see things that other people cannot see, and with the right timing, we sell. And boom, we get a warm lead instead of a cold lead. All right, so basically you would use a scraping actor basically from Apify, a website like Apify, right? And then you would scrape LinkedIn's data, only the public profiles, right? Nothing private. Again, you don't want to mess that up because you can have a lot of problems with this. You could have you could literally have a lawsuit against you because now it's criminal. You don't want to do that. Okay, you want to do the legal stuff the legal way. Again, disclaimer. All right. Now, with that scraper, you're going to be able to see the title change, right? When people just got promoted. Okay, new title, promotion trigger, and then it fires the alert. Okay, it fires you the alert. So now you know. All right. There are already tools like this that exist, but they are really expensive. That's the problem. Okay, these are tools, again, we're coming back to the whole API arbitrage idea, is that these tools already exist, but they sell you a big package with a load of stuff that you're not going to use. Okay, so we don't want to go, we don't want people to go for unused data anymore. We just want to sell them what they want right now, right? So that's the idea here. So basically, there are tools out there like LinkedIn Sales Navigator That's $120 a month, but it hides the emails. Right? You cannot message a lot, and then you don't have any clean export of the data, right? So big product, but big gaps. So the idea here for us, the API arbitrage guys, is basically instead of using a tool that costs us $120, we would use a tool through API. We would use a tool that costs us $2 or $5, right? Something like that, around that. And then we get raw data. We get something that's programmable, something that's exportable. Okay, so that's the same data, 95% cheaper. Okay, and you keep the margin, obviously. All right, so how do you do this? Well, you use a vibe coding tool to build the UI, right? You wrap it nice, okay? You make a nice website. Obviously, you don't want to waste your time coding. Okay, you use Lovable, you can use Cloud Code, you can use Codex. There's a bunch of tools you can use, all right? I put Lovable in the example, but you can use a bunch of other tools. And then the API scraper, I'm going to show it to you right after this. Okay, the API scraper, you would connect it to your website, obviously. And then here you draft the outreach, connect everything to Supabase, and you collect your payment through Stripe. Isn't that beautiful? All right, and then the idea here is not to do a credit pack like I did on LeadPulp or like I was saying with on the other videos. Here we want to go for a traditional SaaS, something monthly, recurring revenue, and something like $29 a month, $30 a month. You can price it around that. I would say anything above $50 a month would be a little too much. Anything below $20 a month will be a little too low. Okay, so that's how this would work here. All right, so basically you would know when people get promoted, and you sell that you sell this SaaS to people. Okay, to people that want to know that information. We don't care when people get promoted. We sell the system to know when people get promoted. I hope you understand. All right, and yeah, basically, like I was saying earlier, this is riskier than the other ones because if you don't use the right tools, you can use tools that are illegal and that are gonna basically using real data from like using private data from LinkedIn, right? And you don't want to do that. The safer path is basically cookieless scrapers, which I'm going to show you, and only public pages, no login credentials. All right, and actually, let me show you this right now. Okay, so the idea here is that you're going to go to API and type this. All right, you're going to type LinkedIn public profile scraper, no login required. Okay, this is what I typed. Type the exact same thing, otherwise you're gonna have some problems. You're gonna run through legal issues, which you don't want. All right, click on the first one. Okay, and this one should be safe. All right, but again, at your own risk. That's not financial advice. That's not business advice. I'm just showing you the possibilities with AI and API arbitrage. All right, I'm just the middleman here. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. All right, so basically with this one, it doesn't require any logins. It doesn't require any credentials. So this is just the data from public profiles, and with this, you're gonna be able to see when people get promoted and connect it to your SaaS and sell that SaaS to people. All right, so this is very easy, guys. I mean, you could build this whole business in 1 hour, literally 1 hour, you know? So these are very, very simple SaaS to build. And that's why I'm making these videos, is because I am so impressed with everything that we can do right now using API arbitrage. It's just ridiculous at this point. So yeah, so let's go back here. Basically, build it, ship it, unbundle, right? This idea of unbundling the big stuff. You go to the big stuff, you take a small thing, unbundling, you practice API arbitrage, you wrap it into a nice UI, and you monetize, guys. All right. This is the SaaS that I built, where we have Google Maps data squeezed fresh. All right. This is called LeadPulp. This is my SaaS. I built it in literally 3 days. Okay. What you can do here is basically find leads from Google Maps. Okay, it gives you everything, their emails, their phone numbers, and yeah, so you type a niche, you go here, you type down a niche, like for example here, dentists, plumbers, you pick a city, and then it's going to give you hundreds of leads, and then you're able to sell that to people. It's a B2B business, so like people that are selling stuff, like, I don't know, marketing agencies, people that make websites, people that sell software, whatever it is, people are interested in those kind of businesses because they need leads to sell, right? So that's just another example here that I built. All right, guys, if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. My name is Tony. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.